Looking to grow your healthcare practice, healthcare clinic as a medical or allied health professional in Singapore. Just recently, we worked with a clinical psychologist who's been 20 over years in clinical practice. He's also a research fellow at the National University of Singapore, and he's worked with us as an agency to find out how he can grow his practice, and thus far the feedback has been positive. So in this video, I'd like to detail out how we went about deploying, building and strategizing digital assets, planning out the paid digital marketing, performance marketing strategy in order to help him bring in patients and clients, okay? And we would want to do it in a way that is in adherence to Singapore's Healthcare Services Advertising Act. I do know that the medical industry in Singapore is sort of similar like the legal one, where there are nuances to advertising and touting and getting the message out there. And at the end of the day, one of the values that I believe in my agency, and as someone who consumes and uses healthcare services in Singapore and pay a premium for certain services, I do want to come from patient perspective. I do want accessible healthcare. I do want to be informed. I do want to be educated, and I do want to be empowered. And when I purchase or make a consumer decision when it comes to healthcare, I do not want to get the feeling that I'm being scammed or I'm being misled, okay? So when we work with our clients, we make sure to come from that standpoint, working within the constraints of Healthcare Services Act. And of course, at the same time, when we market, when we message, we want to empower the patient, we want to educate and make sure that consumers make a choice that is from their own values. The first thing that we've built a landing page for them that's quite different from their corporate website. We built one that is persuasive, that has direct response elements, okay? And of course, a bit of branding elements as well. I do know that direct response has erupted in the internet marketing world over the last couple of years. For our agency, we believe that, especially for healthcare practices, we do not want to over-market it. So we do mix in a bit of brand elements and, of course, ensuring that we have the direct response mindset so that it's persuasive, so that it drives consumers to take an action, okay? So one of the constraints of the Healthcare Services Advertising Act is that you can't do a before and after. You can't claim that your clinical practice is able to lead to an exact clinical outcome. You can't compare or disparage your competitors. Of course, we want to be factual as well. So how do we do so for this particular psychologist, clinical psychotherapy, healthcare practice, okay? So one of the things we really emphasize on throughout the landing page deployment and our ads is that, firstly, we greatly emphasize one of his strengths, which is the clinical psychotherapy practice of existential phenomenology, Jungian tradition. So this type of therapy is sort of different and unique and rare as compared to the usual psychotherapy, okay? But do note that we did not put down the other methods of psychotherapy, such as ACT, CBT, and so on and so forth, okay? What we did was to put them, counseling as one category, psychotherapy as one category, and his unique selling proposition, which was existential, Jungian tradition, humanistic psychotherapy, into another column. And we have a table, and we address what sort of counseling or therapy would suit the consumer needs. We describe them, and consumers themselves can see the difference. And sort of, right, we're doing sort of a comparison, but not in a disparaging way, but in an educative and empowering way. So that, number one, he's able to express his unique selling proposition, his clinical practice, in a way that's 100% compliant and in adherence to the Healthcare Services Act. And number two, he's able to differentiate himself from the other practitioners. That is one of the propositions we bring in as an agency. We really would like to understand your practice. We would really like to understand your medical approach to the practice area that you're in, and understand how you do things differently, especially in private practices, right? I'm pretty sure that private practices, they are selling propositions that's different from the public healthcare system, okay? And it's not just constrained down to same-day dental implants. It's not constrained down to speed and efficiency, which is the two most common propositions as compared to the public healthcare system in Singapore. So as a marketing agency, we really would like to understand your practice from a medical standpoint. We would like to understand it from a consumer standpoint as well, okay? How does your medical approach towards your practice helps consumers like us? The second thing we've done, and this is something we've done for all campaigns as well, is to identify target audiences that would fit the different price points, the pain points and ideal clients, and we also learn from existing clientele how does the current market respond to your positioning in the marketplace, medical approach. Dr. Takashi Obana, well, his name is Japanese, so the first thing I've pointed out is that in his experience as well is that Japanese clients, Japanese people living in Singapore have a natural affinity to him and he speaks the Japanese language, and so there's a natural affinity market, okay, that we can carve out. And the different sorts of problems, right? For example, for psychotherapy, we're dealing with mental health, so these Japanese clients have a different set of problems. Number one, they might only feel more comfortable speaking to a healthcare practitioner in their own language, in their native Japanese language. The second target audience would be Singaporean millennials. Okay, this therapist gets a lot of clientele from millennials, and the issues they face are different from perhaps married couples, okay, or couples on the verge of divorce. For example, one of the things we found out is that Singaporean millennials face life meaning, life purpose issues, work burnout, and interpersonal relational challenges from superiors, pressure from superiors. A lot of it is due to burnout and work situations, okay? With all being said, by understanding our ideal client profile for this psychologist, in our marketing strategy, we make sure to mention these points or to frame it in a point that's persuasive to the consumer, yet ethical and empowering to the potential patient all across the landing page that we've deployed and our ads and our Facebook ads, so on and so forth. For our agency, we're performance oriented. This means that we track everything from ad clicks to landing page views to lead form fill-ups. So you're not getting just clicks on your WhatsApp buttons, you're getting an entire process. The potential patient sees the ads, the landing page, the positioning, and is educated and empowered through our descriptions of the different sorts of medical or healthcare practice that your clinic or your practice can offer. We do add in other elements as well. So Dr. Takashi Obana has a rock band guitar as well. We try to personalize that and also to fit that into the whole marketing message so that when the patient approach your clinic, it feels human. That is why children they are afraid of going to dental clinics, because you go in, it's all white and looks scary, and the dentist is all masked up, and then the next thing you know, they are screaming on the dental bed. Okay, so just to wrap up this video, how do you grow your healthcare practice in a way that's ethical, empowering, persuasive, profitable as well? Like I've mentioned, the three elements. First, we as an agency would really like to work with you medical specialists in trying to understand your practice, how your approach towards medical treatments differentiate from other clinics. As marketers, it's our job to help you frame it or to help you sort of like polish it so that the consumers like us, potential patients like us, non-medically trained individuals like us can relate to how you go about your medical treatments. Number two, we try to understand your existing clientele base. From that, we try to make best guesses of your ideal clients, individuals, patients, consumers that can, number one, afford your price point. Number two, value the service that you provide. And number three, at the end of the day, become happy, well-treated patients and clients that leave great reviews for your clinic. And thirdly, we take a performance marketing mindset. We track everything from ad clicks to landing page views to the back end to lead intake, right? We have all this data and we have feedback sessions from patients that do not sign up. This is the end-to-end approach that we take as an agency, that I take as a marketer, that's helped other clients from all sorts of industries succeed as well. Alright, this is Marcus signing off, and I hope to see you in the next video.